on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular. The official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Happy New Year. Well, let's go Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Primarily Merry Christmas. We are at, Christmas Eve. And I don't know that we've ever had a Fran McCaffery Hawk Talk program run this close to Christmas Eve, but it gets everybody in the proper spirit, not only for Hawkeye basketball, but for this special holiday that lies straight ahead. So we're glad you could join us on the Hawkeye Radio Network tonight, wherever you are across the great state of Iowa or the Midwest, 55 stations strong, of course, on XM satellite and all points in all directions. Iowa men's basketball is now 9-3 following Saturday's hard-fought 95-88 victory over the Utes of Utah. The Hawkeyes shot better than 50% for a second straight game. They hit 9 3-point goals with balanced scoring. I'll say 5 guys in double figures led by Peyton Sanford's season-high 24 points, 16 in the second half when the Hawks pulled away at the end at the free throw line primarily, but Peyton had many of those free throws. With that 24-point performance, Peyton Sanford moved into 25th place on Iowa's career scoring list. Forward Owen Freeman, when he was on the floor, he was spectacular. He played just 19 minutes due to foul issues. He still scored 16 points, grabbed 6 rebounds. Josh Dix and Drew Thelwell had 15. Brock Harding, another terrific floor game, 12 points, 4 assists. Laji Dembele and Price Sanford were big off the bench. Dembele played half the game in Freeman's absence, scoring 5 points, grabbing 4 rebounds, had a steal and a blocked shot. Price Sanford popped in 9 points, including a pair of big 3-point goals, 1 in each half. The Hawks had a 9-2 run to start the game at the beautiful Pentagon in the Sanford Medical Complex up in Sioux Falls. But that 9-2 run to start the game put them up by 8 midway through the first half. And then Mason Madsen took off for Utah. He nailed 3 consecutive threes to rally the Utes, who would lead by 4 at the half. And the second half was a track meet. Iowa outscoring Utah 59-48. The Hawks shot 65% in the second half and made 17 of 23 free throws after shooting just 1 free throw in the first half. Harding, Dix, Peyton Sanford, Thelwell, and others were very aggressive, which led to fouls and free throws. And Coach Fran McCaffery told Bobby Hansen on our postgame show, when the Hawks started to drive the ball, the momentum changed in a big way. And my broadcast partner, as always, former Hawkeye great, NBA world champion Bobby Hansen, is alongside tonight. Bobby, Fran was spot on. We talked about it in that second half. They totally flipped the plan. Not totally, but the three-point shots were there in the first half. Second half, they were driving it in the paint, putting it on the deck, getting to the rim, getting fouled.
Yeah, they got contribution from a lot of guys there. Elijah Dembele, you mentioned, Gary, was big. Both halves in there. Peyton Sanford, the leader, and Brock Harding at the point guard position. He was getting to where he wanted to go and getting to the basket, which we really hadn't seen out of the Hawkeyes a ton, but loved how they attacked, and Utah had a hard time keeping up with them. Mason Madsen was unbelievable there in the first half with his three-point shooting. We did a nice job, we being the Hawkeyes, did a nice job of containing his brother, his twin brother, Gabe Madsen, who hurt us a year ago or back in March in the NIT, but kept him under control. I thought good job by Josh Dix on him, making him work, but Mason got loose. And phenomenal shooter, reminded me of Bohannon a little bit, the way the kid could fire. He just runs around and he gets a little sliver of an opening and he fires away. But what do you have? 6 lead changes. Score was tied 5 times. The Hawks found themselves down 11, and then they went to work. And I thought they wore out in Utah there. And the crowd certainly helped up at the Sanford Pentagon up there in Sioux Falls. A great Hawkeye contingent, and carried the Hawkeyes to victory. And cool thing was, we're in no hurry to get out of there. It was an early game, 5 o'clock start, and the guys got to stick around and meet the fans, sign autographs, take pictures, and had a good evening for everybody.
Boy, was it ever. And for all of our fans, our Hawkeye friends and fans living up in Sioux City, Sioux Center, people were coming up from Sioux Falls. They have a terrific eye club in Sioux Falls. A lot of transplanted Hawkeyes across the border, but they were there from Battle Creek and Little Rock and Spencer and Council Bluffs, and obviously a few came from this neck of the woods too. But it was great to see that kind of support. I'll tell you, Bobby, this game was uncanny. I thought, I was thinking about this yesterday, in its similarity to the Washington State game back on November 15th in Moline. Neutral floor site. Iowa trailed by 3 at halftime. Really pushed the defensive intensity in the second half. That led to 12 of 14 makes from the foul line. They outscored Wazoo by 13 in the second half then versus 11 Saturday in Sioux Falls. The Hawks are now 3-1 all-time at the Sanford Pentagon and 2-1 in neutral site games this season. It was almost like Washington State jumped into Utah uniforms, but it was a very similar, especially in the second half. It was an absolute Daytona 500 from baseline to baseline that second half.
Absolutely. Entertaining basketball game, a fun basketball game, Gary, for the fans to watch and for the broadcasters to call that game. But it's always much better when the Hawkeyes come out on top. But a lot of stars. As I mentioned, I'm looking at my sheet right there. You had Price Sanford off the bench. You had mentioned him, but he gave us a big lift. And Dembele, obviously, we talked about. But they did a decent job rebounding. They did not give up points on those second chance points. It was just 10 for Utah, 11 for Iowa. They did out-rebound the Hawks 35-27, but they managed it, Dolph. And by being aggressive, by attacking, not settling for the first shot available, playing the clock, making them play defense, and then loved when Peyton would turn the corner, Brock Harding turn the corner, get to the basket, get fouled, make their free throws, or get a layup and head down to the other end, shoot or play some defense.
We had a heck of a time picking an Old Dominion best in the game. We went with Peyton Sanford.
Pretty good.
He had a tremendous second half. But I'll tell you what, you could have easily went with Ladji Dembele.
Yeah.
Where would the Hawks have been? And our player guest tonight is Evan Brauns. Evan didn't get a chance to show what he could do in that game. But the Hawks were running out of big men when Freeman went down with foul trouble. But Ladji comes off the bench, and good for Fran to leave him in there as long as he did. He finished the game. He had a tremendous stat line given how effective he was from the moment Coach put him in.
Yeah, 20 minutes played by Ladji Dembele, 2 for 4 from the floor, made his only three-point field goal attempt. The free throws, he didn't make them, but had 2 offensive rebounds, couple of defensive boards, 4 boards, and had a steal and a block shot in those 20 minutes in there. And
he stroked that 3 right off the bench.
He always does.
When they were on a run.
He's a microwave.
And
he heats up quick.
He is instant popcorn.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. The kid had a good time out there and had a chance to talk to him. During practice, he was talking to our friends Rick and Karen Fermel there and just talking about the holidays and what life is like coming up here to Iowa City, coming from where he was at in Newark, New Jersey, there in high school. But before that, he was in West Africa. He comes from 10 siblings, and his mother's still back there. So he put a big smile on his face when you get to talk about his family.
Talks to his mother every day on the phone back in Africa.
Yeah, it's key. It's key that they have communication towers down there.
He is a special individual and not just a basketball player. The Hawkeyes will close out the non-conference schedule December 30th, 1 week from today at Carver Hawkeye Arena. That's a 6 o'clock tip-off against New Hampshire. And what a big day New Year's Eve will be. The Music City Bowl featuring Iowa football with Missouri starts with our pregame coverage at 10:30 in the morning on some of our local affiliates, 11:30 for the network. Kickoff at 1:30, more coming up on Iowa, Missouri football. But, Bobby, just a big thank you to the folks, not only at the Sanford Medical Complex and that story, which is a fabulous story. I mean, it's so much more than basketball there. It's indoor, outdoor volleyball, soccer. They run mostly the gamut of Olympic sports, but that little Boston Garden replica that sits in the middle of that 300 acres right next to the Sioux Falls Airport, that is something special, and the Hawks really like the cooking in that building.
Yeah, Sioux Falls community is very lucky that they have a benefactor like Denny Sanford that invests his money in there for the youth and for the area. They play games. It isn't just Iowa going up there. It opened, I think St. John's played up there, played Wisconsin, but to have that type of a facility, and we're seeing more and more of those around the cities here in Iowa. They're getting these sports complex, nothing like the Sanford Pentagon, but the marketing crew does a fantastic job. The corporate support that they had, we met a few of those businessmen up there that came to practice. They had a bunch of young Hawkeye kids that were there getting the autographs during practice. So really was an all-out effort to support the Hawkeyes up there in Sioux Falls.
It's kind of like an indoor Field of Dreams when you think about it. It's created such excitement in that part of the state, that part of the country, really. And it was great to see a lot of people that we know from Sioux City and Spencer and Sioux Center and all points north and west. So the Lakes area, we had folks from Emmitsburg there. Great to see everybody. And we hope you will participate tonight here on our Hawk Talk program. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk with Iowa Post forward Evan Brauns. Get to know Evans a little bit. But we'd like to have some questions for Evan as well. On Twitter, you can reach us at Iowa_Learfield. But that really is what is it? I got the wrong sheet here. Is this for the women's show, Jan's show? Terrific. Well, they can still check in.
Jan's still here. We'll have her answer the questions.
I know it's on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. How could I forget that?
There you go.
Hello.
That is a holiday.
Hello. Yeah, it is a holiday. Yeah. I'm in the mood, as they say. You can reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. That's another tough one to remember. But we also have U.S. Cellular, one of our great sponsors, offers a text line for you folks to ask Evan Brauns. Coach Courtney Eldridge will join us later on tonight. Coach McCaffery is off on a holiday junket. I think he's heading down to watch Patrick play. Certainly the McCaffery family is in the holiday spirit after that big victory the other night over Utah. The U.S. Cellular text line is 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. For you people sitting here in the audience, pick up your cell phone, text us a question, okay? Or you can email your thoughts, comments, or questions to hawktalk at HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. All right? Got that all down? On Twitter at Gary Dolphin, Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. I do want to mention, of course, we're at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing, and in specifically the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Matt is here tonight, General Manager Matt, with his beautiful family, and we'll say hi to Matt and those folks. Everybody's home for the holidays. You can watch the show live each week here at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, and each week they're offering an extended happy hour, including $1 wings, $3 drafts and domestics, and $5 house wines. Come on down to Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Join us for a great evening of Hawkeye basketball chatter and your favorite beverage. Again, extended happy hour, $1 wings, $3 drafts and domestics, and $5 house wines. We thank U.S. Cellular for its sponsorship of Hawkeye basketball. U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Bobby and I will catch our breath when we come back to the Hyatt Regency. Evan Brauns, Hawkeyes 6'9", post forward, will join us. We'll talk with Evan about his career, about where it started at Belmont University, and how it transcended into the University of Iowa and the Big Ten. That's next year on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP Club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. At Community Choice, it's simply a mortgage. No hoops to jump through or limbo sticks to go under. Just a straight, easy path from point A to point B. It takes less than 60 seconds to get started at unpackyourmortgage.com. Loan approval subject to credit score and analysis. See Credit Union for details. Equal opportunity lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Quinn Schulte, I play safety here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, and I get interceptions.
Rosmer to throw, has time.
Yes,
it's deflected, intercepted again by Quinn Schulte. He's running the other way at the 40-yard line. Hawks have another turnover. We're going to slam the lid, hopefully, down. Here's an interception. That'll do it. And it's Quinn Schulte. And down there, the Hawkeyes will have first and goal.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Should I put it on?
Yeah. Hey, we're back at the Hyatt Regency. Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen, our engineer-producer Corey Sheets. Welcome in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Our final Monday night Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Coach Courtney Eldridge will fill in for Fran a little bit later on. We'll be back after the new year. Of course, we've got a big day of basketball and football next Monday that we'll talk more about later. But how about a hand for Evan Brauns, our Hawkeye post forward, local boy from Iowa City West High School. And you grew up across the interstate, right?
Across the interstate?
Yeah, out by St. Thomas More, you were telling me?
Yes, sir, I did.
Out there, that's close to North Liberty.
It's close, not quite. But
it's still in the Iowa City limits,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Okay, great. Great to have you here. Iowa City West High School. How'd you end up at Belmont? Tell us about that trip.
Sure, yeah. Well, I think what really sold me on Belmont was just they were really good at communicating and recruiting. They did a really good job. They got my family involved. They made a connection with my parents. And I don't know, they just seemed like their values fit our values. And it's a very
It's a great school.
It's a great school academically, and they have a really good program historically with basketball. They win a lot of games. They have a lot of success down there. So a lot of it just made sense, honestly. And I think a smaller school kind of drew me at the beginning.
Sure.
It was an easier transition, I think, for me. And I think the idea of going to Nashville for school was pretty exciting, too, at high school. So,
what can you tell Dolph about Nashville?
Well,
he goes down there.
Nashville, you want to stay away from honky tonk, you know.
Well, now wait. Now we were just there 2 years ago, and
yes,
you've been there, okay?
Yeah, I got to see a lot of the local sacred temples on Broadway Street.
Yes, sir.
And we stayed at the Opryland Hotel.
Oh yeah.
And they got like 25 restaurants and 25. Watering holes that Ed Podolak and I found our way to most of them, but just for one, not the same night.
Sure.
But no, it is. I've been to Music City a number of times. You know, when I first got started in radio, I was a country music DJ.
No way.
And I hosted a couple trips for over 3 or 4 years to the CMA Country Music Awards. We'd bus trip down. We'd spend 5 days in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is back in the 70s and 80s. Man, oh man, what a city.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, they talk about New York, the city that never sleeps. Nashville's pretty close.
It's got to be.
But is the campus, I know where Vandy is. I've been on, is the campus downtown? Or
yeah, well, we're like less than a mile. They were less than a mile than Vanderbilt. So, I mean, right there, right up the street. And then Lipscomb's less than a mile from Belmont. So, I mean,
That's right.
3 Division I schools right in there.
You know, Belmont's got great basketball tradition, too.
Yeah, a lot of conference championships. We won my freshman year of the regular season. That was really exciting. So, yeah, you know, a lot of success, a lot of fun memories for me, too.
You were all conference, putting up great numbers, and then you got the call from Fran McCaffery saying, hey, we need some help here. We need some depth at the post position, power forward position, and you got to come back home.
Yeah, and there's nothing like it, man. I mean, I've been super thankful for the opportunity. My parents are here supporting me, and so like it's been very nice to see them more often, and friends too. You know, not just family, but people I went to high school with or people I knew growing up. You know, it's been good.
And you brought gifts from Mary and Randy Brauns. Looks like some homemade cookies.
It's homemade cookies.
You brought here.
Well, I'm guessing.
Thank you.
I'm guessing Randy had nothing to do.
Well,
with this,
he wrote the letter.
With recipe.
Randy wrote it.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, now maybe he is a chef. I shouldn't even say that. But Mary, thank you for the chocolate chip. Looks like M&M
monster
chocolate.
cookies.
Oh my goodness!
Cookie Monster would love these. Oh, and there's more.
There's
caramels.
in there. Yep, homemade.
Oh man!
Nothing like the holidays.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You got
to you.
share these, or we'll share these with everybody. So the experience at Iowa, certainly you haven't played as many minutes as you'd like.
Sure.
You understand the role. Lodgy was phenomenal the other night in Sioux Falls. But you've always got to be in the waiting. Fran has said all year this is his deepest team in his 15 years at Iowa, and you're a big part of that.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's not always easy, the position that I'm in, and I think especially going from a spot
starter.
where I was a starter, you know, at a school who won 20 games and had a lot of success, and then to come here and have to shift that role, it was a little bit of a trade-off, I think. And I've gotten, you know, you come to terms with it more, especially this is my 5th year playing, you know. I've seen other guys go through similar things. My roommate at Belmont spent a lot of his career as kind of a reserve player, and so I got to learn from him a little bit. We've talked throughout the season, but I think just, you know, setting aside, you know, it's not always about me, right? It's not, well, it's my life,
You're
my
a team
career.
Player.
Yeah, you know, I think it can't always be the star of the show all the time, and so I think just coming to terms with that, and also being able to celebrate my teammates' success too. Whereas like guys come in the game and, you know, they work just as hard as I do, so, you know, who am I to say that I should be playing in front of other guys, you know?
But the other component there is more than one component, but you got to be a great practice player. You've got to run the other team's defense 5 days out of the week as you get ready, and you do a great job of that, as does your other teammates who are sitting there with you on the bench during the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know they'd want to be in the game just as much as I do, you know, and it's not like I'm content with the position. Obviously, I'm trying my best to be out there, but I do understand the situation I'm in, and I just try to make the best of it.
So who were you last week? Were you Lawson Levering?
I was Levering. Yeah.
You were Levering.
I was. Yeah.
Well, good game.
Yeah, I know, right? That's
he had
what I
24.
said. Well, I played travel ball with the Madsen twins for a year.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I saw you talking with them. I wonder what the connection was.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I was joking with them after the game that I was Levering in practice, and I didn't give them that good of a look, but that's all right.
Well, their coach, Craig Smith, who grew up in Minnesota, coached at South Dakota, he was telling me the Madsen twins grew up in the Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin area. He said they are phenomenally passionate Big Ten basketball fans.
Absolutely.
They moved to Rochester when they were youngsters, Rochester, Minnesota, which is right across the border from Iowa.
Yeah.
So they know all about Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota basketball, and I tell you what, they could play in the Big Ten.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those two are amazing players.
Did they always play like that in travel ball? Yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah. It was probably worse than travel ball.
Yeah,
I'm not getting those, getting the ball,
No way, just go get the rebound.
Go get the rebound, play defense, Oh well.
Fun. What's the name of that team?
Wisconsin Playground Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Wisconsin
I can
team.
see why
Shout out to the Warriors.
would be the monikers. Now, where were they out of? Milwaukee or Madison or maybe Chippewa?
Lacrosse.
So
Johnny and Jordan Davis, who played at Wisconsin, other twins. We had two sets of twins. So we had the Davis twins and the Madsen twins on the same AAU team, and we would go practice in lacrosse, where the Davises are from.
So did you stay up there with them? Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, you can't be making that commute.
No way.
2-hour, 3-hour commute. Yeah.
No.
That had to be a great experience.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, Johnny's in the NBA now, Big Ten Player of the Year. So that was awesome. And then Gabe's on his way to the NBA, so
for sure.
It's pretty
cool.
It's
those relationships you make. You'd be lifetime friends.
Absolutely.
Guys,
I'll ask him for money one day too. And, no problem.
Free tickets. Need a little down payment for a car or something.
Hey, everyone's got to eat around here.
I love lacrosse, old style, and then Chippewa is a home of Leinenkugels.
Oh my gosh, Summer Shandy.
Oh, you know about that?
Oh, I know about it.
Right. All right, let's get off that subject, man. We've been. So, what a great win. A great boost going into the holidays. You got New Hampshire coming up. I know you'll get that scout here in the next day or three. And then, but the Big Ten right around the corner after New Year's. I know you never look past an opponent, but it is really going to be something this January, February, March. Because that win, now you're 9-3. Your 3 losses are to Iowa State, of course. That loss really, quote unquote, doesn't hurt you in terms of rankings. It would have been great to win it.
Oh my gosh!
But a tough loss in Kansas City to Utah State, and to Michigan on the road by two, I think.
Yeah.
So your resume with that victory Saturday night really doctors things up nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we stress to each other and the coaches stress to us. That was a really important game, a really good opponent on a neutral site, which, they say neutral, but we had a great fan showing. I mean, that was really special. And I think that really sets the tone for us coming out of break. Guys get to go home on kind of a positive note, recharge with family. And I think we have a lot of good momentum then coming into Big Ten play. Guys are really excited. We have a couple home games to open the season too. Well, but to come back.
At Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then home for 2.
Yeah. So, I just think there's a lot of positivity rolling after that win. And not that a loss would have, been detrimental, but obviously it does help.
Hey, 1-1 in those first 2 December Big Ten games. That's huge.
Huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've had a role since you arrived, but going forward, your 5th year, what's most important to you about what you contribute to this team here in January, February, March?
Yeah, I think how I conduct myself on the floor, in practice, in the locker room, that's just where my focus is. I think, being able to be a solid guy, as guys deal with things in the Big Ten, there's a lot of emotions that go on behind the scenes, and, it's an emotional sport. Guys have a lot of stake in what goes on, and I think it weighs on people differently, and I think, how I carry myself can be some sort of a positivity to other players, or maybe if someone's having a tough time or whatever, they see how I carry myself. They see maybe I can offer them some advice, or we can just go out to eat, get away from ball a little bit. But turning 23 here soon, I've been
You're
through
an old
a lot
guy
of,
now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, look how important it is, though, because you've got Seydou Traore, Chris Taggio.
I saw you working against Chris in practice. I knew you guys were ready when you guys were trading paint down
sophomore.
there.
I mean, you're a role model, but also an informant for those guys. That you've experienced this for a year. You know what's down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some, and that matters, I think, too. As much as I want to contribute on the floor, like I want to be able to contribute in the locker room. And these guys are all my friends. I want to contribute in their lives. I want to be there for them, whether it's they're having problems on the floor or off the floor or, anything in between. And so, I don't know. I find some solace in that, whether maybe I'm not making highlight plays all the time, but maybe I can just be a solid force in some of these guys' lives.
You have some highlight ability, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen you run and jump and dunk the basketball. We're going to see some more of that here this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
You always been able to jump like that?
Yeah, and I don't know where it comes from, it's been my gift, I guess. I don't know.
It's got to come from your dad.
My dad.
Was your dad a hurdler or a high jumper?
My mom played ball.
Okay.
She played for Decorah, very proud.
Decorah, the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Northeast Iowa, beautiful part of the state, no doubt.
Yeah. So,
all right, a couple questions, one-word answers here as we leave. Who's the goofiest personality on the team?
Price.
Price Sanford?
One-word answer, Price, yeah.
Oh, that surprises me. Who's the most serious? Who's the most serious Hawk?
Oh, Josh Dix.
Well,
that's more believable.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Who has the most unique character? Maybe 4 or 5 different personalities.
Chris Taggio.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
See, we haven't really gotten to know Chris yet. We will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, Bobby?
I was going to say, Laji, does he speak I know he speaks 5 languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, does he throw it at you every now and then?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is him and Chris both speak French.
Okay.
So sometimes in practice, Chris was actually upset with me in practice a while ago, and him and Laji were going back and forth in French, so no one else knew what was going on. So,
yeah.
We saw that knockdown in the practice the other day up in Sioux Falls of Chris Taggio, and you just walked away and just said, come on, dude, let's go. Let's go. Get back up. He seems like a great young guy.
He really is. He has amazing energy, and he's just a very happy personality to be around. I think, as a freshman, obviously, it can be hard. A lot of us have gone through that. But, he's positive. He's happy. He smiles a lot, which it's nice to see guys smile. So it's
we got one question here on Twitter. I got to get a question. I know you can handle it. I know Courtney can handle it, but we're going to go with you. Yeah. So Don and Adele, congrats on a fantastic win. This is on Twitter at Erie Dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats on a fantastic win in Sioux Falls. With Owen sitting a lot of the game, how do you guys maneuver to defend a 7-footer and the 3-point shooting brothers so effectively, especially in the second half?
Sure. Well, I think a lot of our game plan was try to shut out the 2 brothers. And great shout out to Josh and Drew and guys who switched on them. They played really, really hard. They were really locked in. And so I think it takes a little bit of understanding. I don't want to say game plan, but understanding game plan, and with a 7-footer, he gave us some problems with the pick and roll because it was just so hard because no one wanted to help off the shooters. We kept talking about how no one wants to help off the shooters.
Overplay the shooters.
Exactly. And so you kind of had to hedge your bets a little bit.
Pick your poison.
Exactly. And you're like, okay, we're more worried about these guys heating up as we saw Mason hit 4 threes in a relatively short amount of time. And so that was the focal point. And then our hope was if we can kind of shut down that part of their offense, it would kind of slow the whole thing down. So, and
it did.
Yeah, and it did. The big guy did have 20, he had 20, but we still won the game. So, you got to kind of take.
Won by 8.
So is one transfer to another one, Drew Thelwell. He's been such a great addition to this team. Any advice to him when he first came here? He looked like he was all ears, ready to go.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I've never seen a guy on his visit. He was so positive and how much energy. And so me and him, he played at Moorhead. Yeah. We played them my first 2 years at Belmont. So I remember he came in the locker room on his visit. We knew each other already. So we got along right off the bat. And I think there was an adjustment for Drew. It's just hard. He was a starter, most wins in his program's history, and then he was coming off the bench as a 5th year. And so me and him had some conversations, how do you wrestle with that as a 22, 23-year-old guy who's kind of dealing with coming off the bench, and now he's earned his spot starting, which has been great, and he's really thrived in that position. So, he stuck with the course, and he kept his head down, but his energy is phenomenal.
Kept his head down, but he kept his head up, too, because the kid was ready to play, just as you are every time you come into the game. So, great job.
You bet. Hey, have one of your mom's cookies as you leave this tribute. Now, I got to throw this at Chad. Just dialed in on Twitter. Evan Brauns breaking out a great interview tonight. Outstanding speaker. This has been the best interview of the year, guys.
Man.
Thank you very much.
Chad.
You know Chad?
I don't. Thank you, Chad. Wow.
There you go. Wow.
Should get Chad a cookie.
I mean, I don't disagree with him, but
gosh,
that's a good note to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Merry
Tell
Christmas.
your family we love them. We love all Hawks.
Thank you,
and enjoy the break. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, bud.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Evan
you, guys.
Brauns, ladies and gentlemen. What a job, huh? EB. 6'9" or 6'10"? Which is it, 10? 6'9". 6'9" post forward for the Hawkeyes. You wonder why the Hawkeye inside game, why Owen Freeman is so good. It has a lot to do with Evan each day in practice. All right, we're going to come back in a minute. Courtney Eldridge, Coach Courtney Eldridge is filling in for Fran McCaffery tonight. We're sponsored by Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. They know that quality coverage takes a great team. And with a Wellmark individual and family health plan, you get the coverage you need with the doctors you want. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. And throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn how corn grows Iowa. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from our Iowa corn farmers and, of course, the folks here at the Hyatt Regency, especially in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. They're ready to serve you this holiday with the best in food, beverages, and, of course, a comfy stay if you're in town visiting relatives or anywhere in the immediate area. Visiting family and friends, be sure you get your reservations at the Hyatt Regency in the beautiful Iowa River Landing. We're back with more Hawk Talk. Chad, thank you on Twitter. You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook, the U.S. Cellular text line, or Facebook. And more coming up on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
3rd down, 11. Straight back to pass is Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
We're back at the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar in the Iowa River Landing. Thank you all for joining us both here in studio, in the kitchen, and around the Hawkeye Radio Network tonight. I'm Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye and NBA great Bobby Hansen, and we're going to talk with Courtney Eldridge in just a minute, Hawkeye assistant coach. First off, I want to welcome you back to our program, sponsored by our friends at UIHC. University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, no matter where you are in the state, changing medicine and changing lives for all of Iowa and beyond. Visit uihealthcare.org, UIHC. Dr. Igram was just here a little bit ago, he and his wife, taking in both the Jan Jensen and Coach McCaffery shows, and he just left. He was talking about that, Bobby, that phenomenal complex that is opening up out in North Liberty. Man, oh man, it's UIHC. You see the signs everywhere, all over the community.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I've got great parking out there.
That's important.
If you've ever had to deal with that, with the University Hospital parking ramp?
I've been underground in the ramp. I thought I was in a nuclear fallout shelter a couple times.
Yeah, it's crazy. My back went out 2 months ago, and I couldn't walk from my parking lot in the ramp there over to CCAS down in orthopedics, but we made it, survived. But, I think April 12th they're having a grand opening out there in North Liberty. But Cass and Julie are awesome people, been friends since I took my daughter to the emergency room years ago in Des Moines, when he was in Des Moines at Methodist Hospital. And she broke her arm, and he took great care of her and fixed her. And
he's special in orthopedics, that's
the
for
best,
sure.
The absolute best.
Let's welcome Coach Eldridge to the microphone. Courtney, great to see you, man.
Thanks, Bill. It's good to be here, man. My first time, but, I'm looking forward to it.
We haven't lost anybody yet, Coach, so I'll promise you. Courtney texted me today and said, "Hey, Dolph, what are the questions tonight?" I go, "Well, why don't we just focus on Utah?" And I'm sure you're okay with that. That's a great win.
Yeah, it was a great win and a great facility. The people up in Sioux Falls really gravitate, to the Hawks, and it's good that, we always ask them to come out here to Carver, and for us to be able to go up there. It's been, a really great environment, atmosphere for us the last few years that we've been up there.
Coach Smith from Utah, his pregame interview, our sit down, he said, at the end, I go, "What are the keys to the game?" He said, "Well, we're going to have to play flawless basketball because I know who's going to have the home court advantage."
Yeah, how much did the crowd help, Courtney?
No, it helped a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, the past few years that we've been up there, we've had nothing but great support. And I think, we try to talk about as a staff that that Gonzaga game might have been different had it not been during COVID.
For sure. Empty building.
Yeah, we can get 4,000 rowdy Hawk fans up there. But just I think the closeness of the arena, the fans are right on top of you. They're loud. They don't get a chance to see us live that often, so when they do, they take full advantage of it, and it helped the guys. It's really having the 6-man, Bob, as you know how important that is, and the energy was infectious, and we needed it, especially starting off in that second half. It got our defense going, get out in transition, and it really helped us tremendously.
I thought Evan Brauns was very insightful in his comments, especially in that second half. Okay, we want to guard the big guy, the 7'2" guy, but, Mason whacked 3 or 4 threes on us in that first half. And his brother, you did a great job on him, on Gabe, who hung 31 on the Hawks in the NIT game last March. So it is kind of a pick your poison, but I think over 40 minutes, you got the job done defensively, especially in that second half.
Yeah, we did. And obviously we want to trade, if we can, 3s for 2s.
For sure.
But, we didn't want to let those guys get loose, because we obviously saw what Gabe was capable of, and that was a main focal point going into the game. And, having his brother, his sidekick, the first half he had, we can't have them both get going. So we really kind of locked in. Josh Dix did a really great job on Gabe. individually, but, you know, it was a collective effort. You know, we really stressed that, you know, he had his career high against Iowa, and we had to make sure that that didn't happen again.
Yeah, what are you telling the guys, Courtney? I know you were a heck of a defender in your days playing ball, but what are you telling the guys going off like that? What do you tell Drew?
You know,
and
I just try to challenge them a little bit, and you know, try to add some extra motivation, and you know, hold them to a higher standard. You know, but you know, Drew, Josh, Brock, you know, all our guys are really, you know, receptive, and but I key in on those three guys the most, because I think, you know, starting those three now, like, our perimeter defense is just as good as anybody's in this league, and as you know, with the the caliber of players that we have, you know, to solidify, you know, the 1, 2, and 3 positions, I think it's going to be very good for us going forward.
Courtney had one of the great lines this year of any halftime interview. As you know, if you listen, Bobby always interviews the coach that has the scout for that particular game. Was it New Orleans where you asked Courtney, Bobby, well, what were you happy about in that first half? And Courtney,
I know what I wasn't happy about.
Courtney blurts out,
that's a coach.
I'll tell you what I wasn't happy about, Bob, and that is, I think, 4 or 5 threes. I
always try to be positive. Courtney, give me something good.
But you're a coach. You're always looking. That's 20 minutes. We got another 20 minutes. Get out there. Let's improve.
Yeah, I know it's not a game of perfect, and we try to understand that and stress that. Are there going to be mistakes, missed shots, turnovers? Yes, but you know, you have to limit them and then get on to the next play, right? Challenge again. I try to, you know, use some of my player days, the tenacity that I had to instill it into, you know, some of the guys. And again, I have a strong connection with a few of the guys, and when they see me get like that, they tend to turn it up a little bit more.
What do you see this Hawkeye defense now? Much better than the past.
No, it is really. We've really emphasized it at the end of last season. So Brock, Peyton, Josh Dix, Owen Freeman in particular in the spring, you know, postseason workouts, they really spearheaded, you know, the coaches' voices into, hey, if we want to get to where we want to go, we have to right the ship. And they were some of the influential voices in the locker room and on the floor that kind of got everybody in line. And it just trickled down from, you know, from the postseason workouts to summer workouts, and then even to the fall and now. And, you know, gone are the days, right, where you know, we can just outscore people. I mean, we can still do that, but I like to personally hang a hat on the defensive end and knowing that you can get a stop to win basketball games. And we've done that in the past, and I think we're doing it more collectively, more consistency than we've had.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach Eldridge has a lot of Coach McCaffery in him because, after all, he played for Coach McCaffery. And when you got that call, you did your recruiting visit to North Carolina, Greensboro. What sold you on Fran when you first met him? He was a young, outspoken, go-get-him coach. He still is, but you have a lot of, I think, his qualities. What convinced you this is who you want to play for and coach for?
Bob, I think it was an immediate connection, and my first time meeting him. You know, us both being in North Carolina, but him being from Philadelphia and me being from Boston. You know, we had kind of the Northeast connection. Him being a point guard and me being a point guard,
sure.
I think immediately from the first conversation that I had with him, I knew I wanted to play for him. And I've learned so much from him, you know, not just as a basketball player, but, you know, now as a coach. When I was a player, like, my career, I was fortunate to have a long playing career, and a lot of it was to do with what I've learned in college. You know, at 34 years old, I'm still playing, and it's not just because of my physical attributes, right?
Sure.
Like, there's, if you saw me, you know, walk in, or you see me, like, I'm 5'10", you know, there are millions of guards walking around, you know, the United States that look like me and play like me, but, you know, I was very cerebral, and I learned that, you know, through watching film with Coach McCaffery and Coach Taylor. You know, as a young point guard, you know, learning the ins and outs, the intricacies, the time and score, like, and that's now what I look for when I'm recruiting a guard. And,
sure.
You know, I think Drew and Brock, you know, Jordan Bohannon, you know, those guys have that innate ability to engineer victory. And every game takes on its own anatomy. So one day it might be I'm scoring. Next day I have to defend. Oh, Peyton's cooking now. We got to load Peyton up. I just, again, try to instill in those guys some of the secrets that I learned that allowed me to play, professionally for 12 years.
I'll tell you, Drew had several 3 or 4 minute stretches there the other night. Most of them in that second half, but he played well throughout, where he just took the game over with his defense primarily.
And again, like I just said, you can engineer victory, and that's the role of the point guard. Him having 2 point guards on the floor
for sure
has been great for the team, and it kind of reminds me of the Gasell and Sapp days. I wasn't here on staff, but I've always been a fan. Since Coach got here and paid really close attention to the program, and that run that group had.
Amazing
they were
run.
some of the catalysts of that, and I think Drew and Brock are headed on. This season happens to be very successful.
I would agree. Let's talk to let's hear from Billy and Waukee on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery at the Hyatt Regency in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. And we appreciate Coach Courtney Eldridge for filling in tonight. Billy and Waukee, do you typically recruit by specific position needs or by best player available?
I think the whole recruiting landscape is a little bit different now because you don't know what your roster is going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Especially
year.
with the transfer portal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we try to recruit, in a year in advance. Basically, you have a relationship with some guys that you're already recruiting, and now that ultimately could change, once your season is over, and now you recruiting for need. But we still enjoy recruiting high school kids and getting to know their parents and their AAU coaches or their high school coaches, and that way you build a relationship. And I know that's extremely important to Coach McCaffery, and knowing who you have coming in this program. We take great pride in recruiting great character people. And, in the transfer portal, they reference it as speed dating, right? So you sit down, you wham, bam, thank you. And now, you're committed to this person, and you have no idea who they are and or what baggage that they're coming with. And as you know, one bad apple can take down a whole program. So, we're really selective in who we recruit. And, I know a lot of places, don't do it that way. But, to answer the question, we try to recruit of need, obviously, but sometimes, you don't necessarily know what you need because of, how the roster turns over.
So your previous comment sounds like you're talking about Cooper Koch. Man, is he going to, if he's healthy 100%, he's a special player. To your point about who you recruit and how you recruit him.
Yeah, no, Coop has been. I was blown away when he first stepped on campus. Just he's got a mature game for himself. He can shoot the lights off of it. He's got great size and length and athleticism that I don't think that he's been able to display as of yet. Mm-hmm. But just seeing him every day, he's gonna be a really good player here. He wants to be better. He's coachable. Yes, sir. No, sir. Look you in your eye. Like comes from a great family. I'm happy that he's in the black and gold for sure.
And we can add Chris Taggio and Seydou Traore. Once we get Seydou back completely healthy, those are 2 special finds.
Yeah, they add different dimensions,
mm-hmm.
To our team in terms of length, athleticism, size, flexibility, versatility, and we can go in a lot of different ways, to score or defend. The teams that are going to be coming into Carver and on the road the next few months.
We're going to take a break, fellas. Thanks. Good stuff, Courtney. Thank you, Billy and Waukee, for the Facebook post. We've got Courtney on the U.S. Cellular text line. We'll get to your question next. Ben and Danny on Twitter. All kinds of ways you can get to Coach Eldridge tonight here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency, the Watermill Kitchen and Bar on the Iowa River Landing. They've got a brand new menu, by the way. They have some exciting new locally inspired specialties like cornbread shortcake, harvest flatbread, and pork belly ragu. We're so excited to try these and many other dishes throughout the season show. We're here every Monday night. Now, we won't be here next week because of football and basketball. Our next show, our next Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffery is Monday, January 6th at 7 p.m. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll give you what we have on the U.S. Bank scoreboard update, and then back to our basketball Hawk Talk as the Hawks come off a big win over Utah. Look forward. We'll give you a preview, Coach Eldridge will, of what we can expect out of New Hampshire 1 week from today, 1 week from tonight over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Get your tickets at 1-800-IA-HAWKS or log on to HawkeyeSports.com. For now, this is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or just needs someone to listen, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Royal Flooring is your one-stop shop for the finest things in your home. Find the best material from the most trusted brands in our beautiful, fully stocked showroom in Urbandale, or shop in comfort online at shoproyalflooring.com.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency in Coralville in this beautiful, spacious Iowa River landing. So many great spots with the Hyatt Regency right down here on the banks of the Iowa River. And we invite you out any night of the week, but certainly each and every Monday night throughout Big Ten basketball for Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. Coach Eldridge will get back to Courtney and Bobby Hansen in just a minute. Right now, time for a U.S. Bank scoreboard update. Not a whole lot to talk about. There's a couple bowl games going on today. We've got one basketball game, and we bring that up because top-ranked Tennessee is getting a tussle from Middle Tennessee State. It's 75-63 Vols. Volunteers with 2 minutes to go in that game down in Knoxville. That's the only ranked team in action tonight. Of course, with the Christmas holiday, you would expect that. One Monday night football game in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers out to a 14-0 lead. 14-0, the Packers leading the New Orleans Saints. Just into the second period. They just started the second quarter. Green Bay with a victory tonight would clinch a playoff spot. Packers are used to that this time of the year. So it's 14-0. Packers over the Saints a couple minutes into the second quarter up at Lambeau. Now in college football bowl games, Coastal Carolina and Texas San Antonio, not close. This is the Myrtle Beach Bowl today. It was UTSA San Antonio defeating Coastal Carolina 44-15. And in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, that's on the Smurf turf, right? I think that's up in Boise. They play on the blue turf.
It is.
Northern Illinois 28, Fresno State 20. It is a good football game. Northern Illinois with the winner there. The college football playoffs, of course, resume later this week. And there you have a limited U.S. Bank scoreboard. We appreciate U.S. Bank's support of Hawkeye basketball. So, Courtney Eldridge, you played at Greensboro. I'm guessing Coastal Carolina is on the coast?
Yeah, it's South Carolina, right?
Oh, that's in South Carolina.
Yeah,
okay.
Myrtle Beach area, yep.
Well, either way, it's beautiful country down there.
The Chanticleers.
Chanticleers.
And that was their home field that they played on today.
Was it really?
Yeah. We actually played
Myrtle
them.
Beach, yeah.
We played them one year, my sophomore year, I believe. I hit a game-winning shot down there, so I've always
liked that place.
Yeah, I always liked that
When
place.
you hear Coastal Carolina,
Dustin Johnson.
I remember one year we played Charleston Southern when Bobby Cremens was the head coach there. Of course, he took Georgia Tech to a Final Four one year, but that is beautiful country down there. Very historic. College of Charleston, excuse me.
Yep. They were in our league. They were in the Southern Conference.
Really? How about Citadel? We played there one year.
Yep. We used to go down there and play them both. Play Citadel and College of Charleston.
Took a boat ride out to Fort Sumter, toured where the Civil War started. Charleston is quite the town.
No, it is.
Man, beautiful.
And the Hawkeyes went through Greensboro on the road to the Final Four.
That's right. Well, didn't you play there?
We did. We played North Carolina State with Hawkeye Whitney, Clyde Austin, Thurl Bailey, Derek Wittenberg, Sidney Lowe on that team.
Those guys
knocked them off.
Thurl Bailey, that's right.
They were surprised.
That's right.
We caught them by surprise.
And you lost the next game, I think, if I remember.
Nope, we beat Syracuse the next one in Philadelphia.
Was that the Final Four year?
That was the Final Four year.
Okay. I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
I was in school. I was in banking school at Drake.
You're paying attention there.
And I was listening. I thought North Carolina State knocked the Hawkeyes
We beat Virginia Commonwealth, first game.
VCU.
And then got North Carolina State with Rodney Monroe got the Hawkeyes.
That's what it was.
1 year. That was a few years later. But the Greensboro, it was great memories of going through there. And then off to Philadelphia and then over to Indianapolis for the Final Four.
Let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification along the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're at the top of the hour. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield, and a 10-second ID break for our stations along the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk. Let's step out, take a break. We'll come back and go right back to Twitter, Facebook, and other avenues to reach Coach Eldridge and Hawk Talk here at Hyatt Regency. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or just need someone to listen, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. Thanks to Hawkeye forward Evan Brauns for stopping by tonight and putting the headset on, talking about Iowa basketball from a player's perspective. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Coach Courtney Elridge kind enough to fill in for Coach McCaffery this holiday Monday this evening. And Danny on Twitter, Coach, wants to know, is it most assistants' goal or dream to become a head coach someday, somewhere?
I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I know that's one of my goals. I
hope you would say that.
No, I think you'll be great, man.
I have aspirations of being a head coach, and I think Coach McCaffery has done a really good job of preparing guys to be able to do that. Right now, I have a lot of roles, so to speak, right? I do scouting, opponent scouting, that is, recruiting, player development. He lets everybody kind of touch every aspect that you need to be good in order to be a head coach. There's not just one guy in one specific area, or you just coach the offense. We do offense, we do defense. Again, obviously recruiting is the name of the game, and you got to get really good players. But X's and O's, really ask for input on game plans and in-game adjustments. So yes, I have aspirations of being a head coach, and hopefully I get to fulfill that dream of mine.
And Courtney, talk about the scouting role. I know you guys take a lot of pride in your individual scouts, and yes. Fran gives you that complete. I mean, he oversees it, obviously. I see you sitting with him. You're going over some video post-game. But just talk about that whole process. How much time is involved in scouting an opponent?
Yeah, so it's strenuous. It's stressful, to say the least. For instance, today, I was in the office watching Wisconsin games, which is my next scout. They've played 12 games so far this year. So I'll watch all 12 games. I'll watch our two games from last season, and then, Coach will concentrate on New Hampshire up until that game, and then as soon as the New Hampshire game is over, he's like, okay, tell me about Wisconsin, right? And I got to know the ins and outs, the intricacies of their offense, defense, late game, side out of bounds, baseline out of bounds. So, I get the full dose of Wisconsin. So I'm going to be this holiday season, watching a lot of Wisconsin tape. Again, I'll watch those 14 games, and then Coach and I will pick a few, a handful, maybe 7 or 8, and we'll rewatch them together and figure out the game plan of how we can beat the Badgers. But, it's hours upon hours of watching film and writing a scouting report, which I've become really adept at, over the years, which I'm very thankful for. Even started in my my first role here at Iowa as the video coordinator in 2016. Just having, I'm glad I started in that role when I did. I've learned so much about the game, from a different perspective, from a coaching perspective and from a non-player perspective, that now that I'm writing my own scouting reports, I kind of know what to look for. And I'm really thankful that I was able to start the video coordinator role. But
interesting. We had a question here just sent in. How many hours does a coach spend on one scouting report? You mentioned you've been peeking at the Badgers, which is coming up January 3rd in Madison. A typical scout, by the time you get it on paper, put it in print, give it to the players, how many hours do you spend?
Man.
You said hours of watching film.
Yeah, that takes up the most time.
Mm-hmm.
Now as the season goes on, the teams will be playing more and more games. So you have more and more games to watch, especially now we're in league play, right? You want to, you try to watch almost every league game that the team has played. So you're looking at, at least, 15 hours right there of film, depending on when you play them. And then writing the scouting report, studying personnel, you're looking upwards to over, 20 hours, per scout, depending on when it falls in the season.
I know some nights leaving the arena, we have an hour-long post-game show, and by the time we get tore down and take out, you guys are still upstairs in the dark room looking at film.
Yeah, it's never ending, and you can always. I'm always looking, rewatching something to see if I missed anything.
Sure.
And again, I watch it once. Coach and I will watch it together, and sometimes he watches it again on his own. So we'll watch one game 3 different times and come up with 3 different perspectives, or I might grab something that he might have missed, or he grabbed something that I might have missed, and it really checks and
4
balances.
eyes are better than 2 is
absolutely.
what you're saying. All right, Coach Eldridge, we'll come back with Courtney in a minute. Hawk Talk here from live from the Hyatt Regency and the Iowa River Landing is brought to you by the Summit Agricultural Group. Thanks to Bruce and Nick and the crew up in north central Iowa in Alden and Iowa Falls. The Summit Ag Group is committed to Iowa, adding value to Iowa products like corn, beef, hogs, ethanol, and many more agricultural connections. Go Hawks from Summit Agricultural Group. Well, a week from today, the Hawks will be in the bowl game, the Music City Bowl down in Nashville. The Hawkeye Radio Network has you covered thanks to 988 Lifeline. Catch special Fight for Iowa podcasts later this week. We'll have several episodes from Nashville starting the day after Christmas. And, of course, we have our Hawk Talk Music City Bowl preview show put together here in the next few days. It'll be airing December 27th from 6:30 until 8 p.m. So a big week ahead for football and basketball. Game day coverage kicks off with a pregame show at 11:30 on the Hawkeye Radio Network on December 30th. Iowa and the Missouri Tigers, Big Ten versus the SEC. The Music City Nashville Bowl coming up December 30th. And again, tune in for podcasts later this week as we talk to players and coaches from Nashville. Back with more on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
I'm Wyatt Black, defensive line, Iowa. On the field, I take on double teams, stop the run, and sack the quarterback.
Sullivan now runs for his life, and he's obliterated by Y.A. Black. Here's the snap, the spot.
Yes,
and it's blocked. Kick is
Don't touch it. Don't touch the ball.
Hawks get it back. Y.A. Black, that man, what a momentum shift there.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Got the crowd going wild, though.
Courtney Eldridge has his own cheering section here tonight. That's fantastic. Thanks for coming out here on Hawk Talk at the Hyatt Regency. This weekend we lost former Hawkeye star and radio network analyst for women's basketball, Jamie K.V. Lang. Jamie lost her battle with cancer at the young age of 41. And I got to know Jamie a lot over the last 5-6 years in particular. But what a delight she was on and off the air. An incredible personality, tremendous sense of humor. She played in the early 2000s for Lisa Bluter. She averaged 16 points her junior season, was all Big Ten, both her junior and senior years, and, of course, called games with Rob Brooks for a number of years, including when she was healthy enough to put the headset on, and she was a gamer. Let me tell you, those back-to-back Final Four appearances by the Hawkeyes. We lost Jamie yesterday, and we're all devastated by it, and we just want to make sure that husband Mike and kids Vince and Benny and Sydney know that we're thinking about them, and our deepest sympathies to the K.V. Lang family. She was a phenomenal athlete at North Cedar out of Mechanicsville, but an even better person. So we know we want the K.V. Lang family to know we're thinking about them this evening. Back to Hawk Talk and questions for Coach Courtney Eldridge. We have Courtney checking in on the U.S. Cellular text line. Coach, what are the specific roles of each assistant coach on your staff? I don't know that you have specific roles, but you really rotate the baton. You hand off, particularly in scouting,
yes,
game to game.
Yeah, I think again, I think Coach McCaffery, allows us as assistant coaches to touch every aspect of the program, so that way we're growing and developing professionally. So to answer that question, I think all of the assistant coaches, we do scouting, opponent scouting, we recruit. So we're on the road, trying to find the next batch of Hawkeyes. With player development, most of us coaches are on the floor with the guys, putting in the sweat equity with them, getting them better. Those are kind of some of the three of the main aspects that we each touch, and continue to, again, try to grow and develop so we can be better and the program can be better.
Courtney, we got this question prior to the game versus Utah. It's like, what can a team do to improve rebounding? I mean, you can't make guys grow or whatever, but I didn't have a great answer, but I did watch you guys really work on it prior to the night before the Utah game, was free throw rebounding, box out. Yeah, just talk about how do you improve as a team?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we work on a daily basis, and a lot of it has to do with will. I think, right? Like Dennis Rodman, right? Wasn't the tallest person on the floor.
That's what he did.
But he was the best rebounder, every time he stepped on the basketball floor, right? Draymond Green, right? Somebody like that. But, we, do box out drills. We have a kind of a bubble you can put on the rim. So, the ball's not going in, but you shoot it and it ricochets off that. So, we work on that. We have the bigs boxing out the little ones boxing out the bigs, just, so that everyone, for instance, say Owens is masked up on the guard and he's going to try to run around him, but Owens got to get down and slide his feet and stay in front of him and create space and go attack the rebound. But, it's something that we work on and we continue to work on. We know that we have to get better at it, to be successful. And, it's something that we preach on a daily basis. And, the guys are receptive and they work hard at it. And we're going to continue to fight, and we're going to get better at it for sure.
Just a third of the way through the season, and so many great games yet to come, starting with New Hampshire a week from today, and then at Wisconsin when it becomes Big Ten all the time on January 3rd. We need to work in a final commercial break from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll be back to the Hyatt Regency with more Hawk Talk right after this. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency. Everybody at the Hyatt, General Manager Matt and all the staff wish you the very happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be back again January 6th after the New Year's holiday with our next Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. We appreciate Coach Eldridge coming out tonight. Before we wrap up the show, it's time for our Midwest One. Bank quick stat. And I got to go back to the free throws, especially in the second half. Iowa shot one free throw in the first half the other night against Utah. 18 of 24 for the game. How about that? 17 of 23 in the second half. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, driving the basketball to the rim, to the glass. And there were 4 or 5 Hawks doing that. So that is our Midwest One Bank quick stat in terms of a difference maker in the game. Midwest One Bank, member FDIC, they're a big partner of doers and entrepreneurs. Their teams are ready to help you reach your business goals. Midwest One Bank. Coach, one more question I want to get in here before we have to say goodnight. Frank out in Omaha on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. What is the next big shift or trend that is changing in college basketball? Well, if he's talking off the court, obviously NIL and transfer portal, but let's assume he means the game itself.
I think as you see it, in the NBA now, but teams have shifted into shooting more threes. I think the mid-range shot is kind of a lost art now, but I think that's something that we still continue to preach and work on and to develop our guards because at this level they're not going to be able to always get downhill and get to the rim, but they will. Teams do try to take away the three-point shot, so that 17 to 15-footer will be available. And as you see when we play, Josh Dix lives in that area, right? Like Brock, at his size, that's going to be a shot that he's going to have to grow and develop a little bit more, and Drew as well, if they want to continue playing on professionally. So I would say. A lot of teams are shooting more threes. You see now it's kind of going away from traditional bigs. Most nowadays bigs have to shoot threes. It creates more space, and you're driving and kicking with nobody in the lane. And now you got like Luka Garza, for instance, when he was here, he was one of our best three-point shooters. Bobby. Which has allowed him to have a career in the NBA. If he was still a low post guy with not being able to stretch the floor, I don't know that he has the opportunities, with the Timberwolves that he has right now.
Oh, he was multi-range three and inside with his back.
You see Owen Freeman now, expanding his range. He's 4 for 10 on the year, right? Shooting 40% from three. Again, I think the game is gravitating to that. Especially in our league, it's kind of traditional of being a smash mouth league. Bigs have to be able to knock down perimeter shots to be successful now.
Bobby, we got about 10 seconds. You lived in that 15 to 17 foot range. You could shoot the three, but Malone was one of the best I ever saw at that 15-foot turnaround.
Yeah, I want to ask Court, who's your favorite Celtic?
Larry Legend.
Not Don Nelson. I like DJ. I like Dennis Johnson.
Paul Pierce.
Yeah, Paul Pierce wasn't bad.
Buddy, thank you.
I go back to Bob Cousy, man. Let me tell you.
Tiny Archibald.
There you go.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Good night from the Hyatt Regency on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit IALottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.